Well, the recording software censored us automatically. Not on my family-friendly show.
Since when has this been a family-friendly show?
Since today, according to OBS. It's very hot and muggy. And I forget where we were.
What is this bat?
No, this is about where we were, because this is where the conversation abruptly ended. Not for us. For you. It went on much longer for us. It abruptly ended from everyone else's perspective. I still don't know how it ended from everyone else's perspective because I haven't edited it yet. I could just release the last 2 hours of only my mic working, and it'll just sound like you got up and left.
Yeah,
and I continued arguing to the empty air. Yes, let me present a bigger target, lads. What was that thought?
I thought I could lean
You
down
shoot
and
the
grab
Batman?
somebody.
You shoot him with bullets? Jail for thugs for 1,000 years.
Well, I think we'll revisit it, obviously. I would
revisit it now.
Well, I mean, we could. I don't know that I have fully...
Did you look at the thing I sent you?
I did. However, I would like to clarify, or actually, I would rather like to inquire as to what you actually think I'm arguing for.
Well,
it
that
seems
may in fact be the root of the issue, is that I'm not sure.
Because it seems as though what you sent me over the week was seeming to suggest that you're assuming I'm arguing against Stoicism, and that's not really what I'm on about.
Well, okay. You certainly came across that way when you were saying, "Here's why I don't believe in Stoicism fully."
Well, it was more that
came across as, "Here's why Stoicism and me aren't together yet."
No, well, that part is true, but
how is that anything other than an argument?
Because I
never
asserted that I was fully correct in my understanding of Stoicism. In fact, if I recall, I opened the argument by saying I actually don't know whether the idea of this particular, the whole idea of micro expression or micro emotion and all those other things were actually in Stoicism or more modern
well, I don't know what you mean by micro expression, because I mean that's a psychoanalytical term.
But
that's a police profiling term.
It was a micro. They called it micro passions or micro emotions. But
well, see, I never heard that even in my follow-up research. I've never heard it. So that suggests it's a modern thing.
Cool, and that's awesome. That's the part that I wanted to clarify. I don't intend to suggest.
How do I use my grappling thingy?
Well, certainly not by.
How do I grapple with my thingy? It's hot enough. I could do that probably.
Does your grapple hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you pull it?
I don't know about tying a knot, but I certainly could pull something in tow.
So all I'm suggesting is I could be erroneous in my assumption about Stoicism. That part I do not have any problem.
Well, you seem to defend that fairly ardently too, though. You're like, I've definitely seen it, so it must be there.
Well, I would
That's
say...
why I had to even embrace the argument to begin with. I was like, well, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to at least... It didn't seem contradictory from what I have read. Oh, let's look at that.
Can I...
Well, I mean, I that was a full-on... He didn't know how to react to that. You look good, thug. You look good, Joker thug. Smack. You wound that up and everything. That clapped through the whole chapel. I'm astonished that you're not dead yet. Okay. That took a long time.
Clapped through the whole chapel.
Well, seriously, that was like, woo. I imagine a cartoon wind-up sound effect. Like, woo.
So here's what I was initially arguing. In this part, I would say I have not certainly bolstered my argument in, and this is why I would say maybe we will revisit.
Are we not revisiting now? This sounds like a revisit.
It was less about this is a Stoic assertion that I disagree with. It was more about
I'm not even going to hide. I'm just going to come for this guy.
If this is a Stoic assertion, I disagree with it. So
well, what is that then? Because
so let me actually first start by saying,
grab him with my noodle.
the assertion.
How do I use the noodle?
You are
Not this way, I can tell. Maybe I used the noodle in death. The noodle used me.
They're gonna use your noodle in death.
Ooh. Ooh. They're criminal, insane people. They might. Maybe that's why they're here. Figure out how to do the quick grab with your noodle. Maybe I'm thinking in Arkham City still. There used to be, you could use the grapple thingy to disarm a guy and take the gun from him. But maybe you can't do that in this game.
I think I'm gonna sneak up behind that guy again.
Well, yeah, just don't give him the clap of the century. It was the smack heard around the world. So what I sent you, which is essentially, I thought it was relevant in that it essentially, what we got hung up on was whatever you were attempting to define as, whatever you were attempting to define between positive and negative emotion and how you judge between the two, is essentially what I found in the research was that that's already baked into the Stoicism. What they were describing as passions are not just any and all emotions. That's funny that they put that in the game. If you walk through the metal detector, it goes off. That's funny.
Okay.
Just casually stroll away while getting shot. That's a level above walking away from an explosion. The game had to hide what you did to that man. There you go.
Is everybody gone? Okay.
So what they describe as a passion is what you would have described as quote, a negative emotion, which is just any emotion that is out of sync with, I mean, they would use this term that it's out of sync with reason, as in you're feeling a way that there is no logical reason to feel. You could also describe it as being out of sync with reality. I mean, that's one of the things, it's like, one of the core Stoic ideas is that, being worried about the future is pretty much always you just tormenting yourself because you have no way of knowing what's in the future.
Right,
therefore, you're anxious for something that may or may not even be. And so what they're saying in that case, that they're saying that is an emotion that is out of sync with reason because there isn't good justification for it. Whereas any other emotion that's not out of keeping with reason, that's fine.
Sure. And
but
again, that's what I'm saying.
You were objecting to the idea that reason would be the thing by which you judge emotion. And that still is the case.
I still would say that's not even what I was arguing. So again,
perhaps you should make your argument.
So I will. I'm gonna make it real obvious. Getting back to I think what the original argument started as, that just I think we got bird trailed a little bit.
I don't know where we're going.
Well, okay, where is Harley and where is she using the rake?
We heard it when we came into this room, so that suggests that we're going the right way.
Can I?
Maybe do we just have to get out of here?
Cadoodle up to this?
Because I think we came in from that side. Yeah. So if this is how we came in, is this just how we leave?
I'm just strolling out like that's all I needed to do was leave?
Maybe. I don't even know. Maybe you should check what we're supposed to be doing. I'm sure they give us an objective if we look for it. Arkham Island.
Destroy the Titan.
Oh, this actually tells you where riddles can be found. That's actually helpful. I don't think Arkham City did that.
Should I go over there and do it, or
the riddle, or whatever we're supposed to do?
Obtain the security key, cords with the warden, locate the warden using this.
There's normally a thingy on the map that tells you where to go.
Okay, well, I have to do, okay.
DNA ID Quincy Sharp. Okay, so we're tracing Quincy.
And where?
That's the name of my second novel.
We're chasing Quincy?
Yes, tracing Quincy. Guess
tracing Quincy or chasing?
Well, you could interpret it either way, really.
I don't know where.
Oh, there you go. 100% match. I should hope so. What would it mean if you found DNA that didn't 100% match?
What do I do with it?
Well, I mean, what else do you do with DNA? Gross. Mop it up.
I punch it. What do I do with it?
You found it. Now you're trying to trace more of it.
I got it. Now what will I do with it?
You gotta use it. Okay, we're going in the building again. I thought we were leaving the building. Ew. Something gross was heat. Whatever the mayor was up to, it really was strange. If your DNA is getting all over walls, think people gotta wonder what you're up to. What does a bird need in the rain? A house. I don't know. Needs for the Riddler to shut up. I can't tell if we're following the trail in or out of the building.
Yeah, that's
because we came from in the building. Seems like maybe we want to be out of the building.
Well, so if we tease that out where I was supposed to be coming in through here.
Well, yeah, then just leave.
And that means I'm going this way, which
you went this way, and she smacked his head so hard against that he spat, or bled, or did something else indecent.
I was about to say,
peed his pants.
You hope it's blood or fecal material, not something else.
Probably something worse. Identity unknown.
It is Harley, so
someone's deceased. Well. You suggesting we give the man some slack? I mean, if I was getting tied up by Harley, who knows what I'd do?
You have been back onto this old BDSM nonsense. Oh, dear. Whoa.
I'm just saying, the man's getting his bodily fluids all over buildings.
Actually, you wouldn't need everybody. Just one Harley would do.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Whoa.
Oh, speak of the devil and she will appear.
That's not the mayor, is it? Ooh, whatever's happening to his pelvis is bad.
I'm old and fat and rich and cool.
It does kind of give off that vibe.
Okay. This is getting more suspect for you, pal.
I'm just saying, if you go around rubbing your bodily fluids on buildings, I think you'll get arrested. Probably rightly so.
Am I batarang it?
No, you need your hacking tool, which we don't have. Who knows why we don't have it? Batman was caught with his bat belt down this morning because Harley was tying him up. So get on with your point.
My point was that we had started the discussion by talking about the approach to, or the possibility of approaching ethos from pathos versus approaching it from logos.
See, that, as far as I understand, is not a... I couldn't find any kind of documentation for that in Stoicism.
Well, and again, maybe that's... But it sounded like even if it was outside of a Stoic concept...
Try looking up. Is there somewhere grapple above? Uh-huh.
Yeah, there we go.
What's the purpose of a gate with a giant opening above it?
To lure Batman
to let everyone but Batman, or to keep everyone except Batman out. I guess if you had a place, you wouldn't want to leave Batman out of it. Who knows what he would do?
I told him I didn't even have a system. He just kept telling me to do it. So I got in my car.
Okay, what point do I... Oh, see, that's a completely grappleable ledge, so that's a dumb argument right there. I'm just going to jump right in there and mix it up. How about that?
It being their various organs.
Can I not, like, attack? There we go. Let's start with that
Just pick
guy.
a guy and kick him. Kick him so
Pick a
hard
guy.
his teeth
Kick
fly
a
into the
guy.
next guy's eye.
I'm swinging and strangle a guy. How about that? I don't want to fight this way.
I'm swinging. I'm a bat and I'm swinging. You are getting shot a lot.
I don't want to be. Can I use this bat for you? Yes, thank you. Bat yourself.
Don't
Batting
invite him to do that. He might just do it.
Nope, no bullets for you.
Bullets for him, though. Bullets for days for him. He couldn't figure out how they worked.
Do I use
You
this
are
the same?
so close to death. I was going to say, if one of them so much as coughs on you, you're going to die.
So, I guess, number one, let me go back and sharpen what I'm actually trying to bring clarity to. Number one, how would you define emotion?
Well, that's a very loaded.
It's
and
not. I'm not trying to be
also-
loaded at all. I just what I
Well,
want to
it
do
is
is
loaded whether
No,
you
no,
try
no.
or not. That's
No, no,
not
no.
a question that
my
can be
intention
easily-
is because I'm not going to be able to define it either. What I think we need to do is establish some degree of credible starting point.
Well, you'd have to do some kind of neurology at that point, probably. Is the only
Well, that's
real-
probably true, but I guess emotion distinct from maybe
emotional
something
damage.
emotional. Oh, see, now you were thinking smart.
Well, no. I mean, if I blow this up, they'll hear me. But it's just because there's a Riddler thing in here. That's the only reason to do this. This doesn't give me any advantage. I'm going to kick the guy with a gun so hard that the gun lodges itself in places best not dwelt upon.
See, I can't fight in detective mode. I find that
No guns for anyone. I'm the NRA. Except that doesn't make any
I was about to
sense.
say the NRA doesn't even. Well, that's a discussion in
I
itself.
meant the
actually.
IRA, actually. Whoa! Double kick! I don't think physics works that way, but
Well, you gotta.
hey,
What is it called? An award for it. So there you go.
two men shattered at the same time. That was just well played.
Some good kicking original bats.
You hit a guy with another guy. That was well played. Zaz is counting on me. He can count how many testicles I have.
Zaz.
Fuck her up and kiss it, Zaz.
Oh no!
Things are exploding. It's the
If you say it's the mayor, I'm gonna be so mad. No. Oh dear!
What else? What
I
else?
knew the minute you were looking at the. So okay, defining emotion in as it pertains to emotion versus feeling.
Well, is there a difference?
Well, that's the question.
I don't know that there is any useful distinction.
Okay, so you see those two as not distinct, which is fine.
I forgot to go back.
Rather than trying to define them, maybe I should say let's list a few so I can.
I should have
some
gone back and
both
gotten that
negative
Riddler
and
thing.
positive, so I can kind of use them as a
Hello.
reference for what I'm getting at.
Who's that? No, it's not. I'm his cousin.
No.
Do not bring that taser near me.
Do not listen to him. Did you say tase?
Is he okay?
Come and get it. I think I just shoved my boot in his mouth. His jaw popped off like a Pez. Oh, hello. Can I beat you up too, just because?
He's like,
That's an appropriate reaction, good sir. He's got a head on his shoulders. Something tells me I'm not going to be able to open this door, and I'm going to have to go through the vent. Oh.
that's just like, nope.
My gaming senses are too heightened, in fact. How do I reflect on my successes and failures, Batman? I'm going to take a picture of my butt in the mirror, is how I'm going to answer that for you, Riddler. How do I reflect on this? Alrighty. Who doesn't want their giblets? I'll be happy to take them. I need the Assassin's Creed whistle ability.
Apparently you don't.
I'm going to impale him on my ears. surely these things would cut, right? Like, this guy should be doing more than just, like, doing a little backward step. I feel like he should be bleeding and screaming.
That was a legit and off.
Oh!
Okay, that's one way to tear a guy's knee apart.
I think I ripped his entire leg out of its socket at every socket it had. Alrighty, where's the mayor? He's got a lot in him. If it's all still coming out. There's a lot to lose and still have more.
And that's why I don't think it's blood.
Well, there's surely a limit to all bodily fluids, aren't there?
I don't know.
Anyways, what's your point?
So,
I can't answer this question.
Well, okay.
I don't know what the difference between emotion and feelings are.
No. I already said if you consider those to be the same, that's fine. But then, give me at least some, so that we can use the same terminology.
There's
I
a lot of
suppose.
guys. Two people,
Give
one
me
voice, no gun.
some examples of emotions, just in general.
Why?
Both positive and negative.
What does this serve?
Well, because I'm establishing.
I mean, pick one, I guess. I don't know.
No,
Why do I gotta pick one?
Well, because some people see things like, what is happening?
Some kind of madness party. It's a rave.
The question is, why aren't they attacking one another?
Oh, because, you know, bros before hoes.
You just establish yourself as a hoe? Is that?
I mean, who in this room is wearing leather underwear?
Oh dear, this guy, poor guy, is just like, leave me the freak alone.
The arms of an angel. Something tells me you got the padding on the wrong side of the cells, guys. Why would you bother putting padding on the concrete but not on the bars or the other wall? What is he doing to himself? He's warming up for next round. And that guy's going, no, please.
I'm standing over the toilet because I don't want to hear it any longer. I will cram my head into this toilet.
Where are we going?
Take your Pamela Anderson somewhere else.
Mayor, this is just indecent at this point. Something tells me you're getting off on this.
Oh.
Who's this? Oh, hello. Ah, I see now. I see what's been going on with the mayor.
I'm really not interested in a bunch of flowers, Ivy.
They're in pain, crying for help.
Just stay where you are. Last thing I need is you running free.
Poor children. I'll save
I think the mystery has been solved. The mayor was on his way here, and he couldn't contain himself.
The mayor had Harley and Ivy right next to him, and he could not keep
Couldn't keep it above the waist.
below the waist.
I think it was entirely below the waist is where he was keeping it.
What?
Where else is it going to be?
Above the waist is when it's not.
I don't think it goes all the way above.
Okay, well,
It sounds like a medical anomaly.
Not at all. You must be as floppy as a damp old sock.
I'm up here!
Oh, are you? Are you, Mayor?
What did he say?
He said
Something
he's
about
up.
being hard?
He said he's up here.
Help me!
Those weren't the same sentence. He's not up here. He's up and he's here at the same time.
I'm up here.
I'm up here. Help me out, Bats. I'm up here.
See? There you go.
Ivy? Gee, you look like crap. Maybe I can sneak you some shampoo.
The plants, can't you hear them? They're crying out to me in agony.
Yeah, well, I really
She's going to let her out, and then who knows what'll happen, and the mayor won't be able to handle it.
Literally, oh,
already list.
Please!
What the heck? I'll cut your break.
See,
That feels so much better.
it's odd that they forced her to wear the prison shirt, but we're like, the pants are optional.
You think that's odd?
I mean, it's perfectly understandable, but seems like a breach of protocol. I mean, I could understand one guy letting that slide, but the entire prison letting that slide. Talk about
Okay, that guy
floppy.
with the weird floppy arm.
With his flop sock.
Let go of my flop sock.
I don't think I need to rescue you. I think you should stay here and think about what you've done.
He's taken control of the security overrides. I have the sequence generator, but without the...
I have the sequence generator.
Don't
Terminal has been destroyed.
go there.
What? Oh, yes, of course.
Emotions. Well, I guess let's talk about whatever emotion the mayor's feeling right now.
Well, because I'm saying, like, some people...
Here it is, finally. So you're telling me I've had this whole time? And I only just now figured out I could use it to unlock stuff?
Are we just going to sit around here talking about how much stuff I can unlock?
I mean, he didn't have to take a look at it for a long time. Maybe he forgot about it. He's like, what was I doing with this? Alfred, did you put this in my belt?
What the heck is this?
What? And of course they would make me use it now, despite the fact that this thing was not locked when I got here. Okay. Now Batman's feeling an emotion.
Well, I wouldn't say emotion.
He's looking at me going, stop that. Yeah, well, whatever emotions the mayor's feeling right now.
No, I'm saying, like, so some people would, like, classify something like...
How did...
What?
Hang on, you were just... Hang on.
Like...
He was just up here. What? What? Okay.
Get me out of here! You rescued the wrong warden. He's an imposter.
Ah, okay.
How many freaks are in this place? Batman, it's me, the warden. You know me.
Do I, though?
I'm confused.
Use the dinner.
The only character we know who can do anything remotely like this is... he doesn't have a skeleton. So this is Clayface. It must be.
Well, Clayface or...
He's the only character I know that can do this kind of thing. What happens even if I know that? What if I break him out anyways? I mean, what's one more freak gonna do? That is some tough stuff. Okay.
So my point is, some people would consider something like, what's a good emotion to use? Like, there's obvious ones such as, joy, sadness.
This is quite a dystopian prison.
I'll let you help me find my socks if you
But I mean, some people would consider something like envy to be not an emotion.
You say that because that's what I said last time.
Well, no, I was
By
asking.
some people, you
I
mean me.
asked you. No, I don't remember that. But I'm asking you again. What do you consider an emotion, and what don't you? This is what I was saying. We have to use the
I
same
don't know. You're gonna make me
terminology.
list all of them because I mean,
No,
I feel like
I'm
it's-
just saying, like, give me like a roadmap at least to
Hello.
his face.
I ain't got one.
I'm pretty sure that's Babyface Thompson.
No, it's actually that guy from Toy Story. Al from
the
Al's
Chicken
Toy
Man.
Barn.
I'll skip the show.
I gotta drive all the way to work. Okay, well you're weird. Got a fancy new piece of tech, and I'm gonna use it to chase down Riddler crap. I don't want to go through the list of all possible
No,
emotions.
I
That's-
don't expect you to. I'm just asking you, like, what makes envy not an emotion versus...
I don't know, because envy, I don't know. Do you feel it inside of you, or is it just a thing that you think? I feel like envy is a thought.
No.
To envy someone is a conscious thing. You're aware that you're doing it, I think.
Well, but okay.
Wouldn't you be?
It happens to you, though. You're aware because you're an observer of your own.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to envy something strictly just means that you want something somebody else has.
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds like a
by
conscious
definition.
thing.
Yeah, but that's envy, though. It's a feeling that you're having. I want that, and I.
Yeah, but to
can't
want,
have it.
I mean, is want a feeling? That starts to, because what if I say I want a sandwich? Am I having an emotion when I think that, or am I just thinking that I'm hungry? Like that, what?
Well, I think that there's a physiological, obviously, aspect to that, but I also think that there's times that people eat because of emotion. So I mean,
is this one cell colored differently than the rest?
because he's got the special toilet. It's
the blue toilet.
It's got Walter White's meth in there.
He was getting packages. Hi.
What? I'm gonna. Whoa! I wonder what's gonna jump out. And go
Bad
boogie
touch,
boo.
bad touch, bad time. Stranger danger.
I wonder what's gonna jump out and say boogie boo.
There's more than boogie boo.
So like,
So you're saying any physical sensation could be characterized as an emotion, depending
no,
on?
not again. You're bringing it to a very.
I'm not. You're the one wanting me to give answers that I don't have. I don't know what makes
not-
emotions as opposed to other things.
What I am trying to establish is that
water
what
is
I
electrified.
believe is that emotions are
I'm gonna need my grapple.
the
zip line.
substance of what, at least some of the substance. They're more substantive to what's going on, and then your logos or your logic then interprets
What
those
in the
things.
heck is
What
she up to?
in heaven's
Is she
name?
just putting on a show?
Okay.
I think she might be.
What?
Now you're shot. Come and get me, bats. I double dare ya.
That was an awkward zoom. Not least of which, because okay.
Why don't you just go get a gun and shoot the stupid bat?
Why would there be a cabinet labeled guns? Why would it be that easy to pry open with bare hands? That was just for being bad. I countered that. No, you shan't.
So, your logos, your logic, or I would say
Okay,
your intellect, if you want to call it that, or intelligence, is what
The rational
interprets. Yeah, is what interprets the substance of things like emotion and whatever else. But substance, in other words, you need something to observe in order to be an observer.
Well, that's true. It's very
So-
zen of you. So,
so-
why is the thing to be observed in emotion? It could just as easily
Well-
be the real world around you.
Well, but that again, it's substantive, and what I'm arguing is that
Woo! I thought she was coming on to us hot and heavy.
Well, it won't be so easy trying to catch me. Mwah!
I'm pretty sure she made that noise after she did that. Why? So, would you agree that
Okay, I'm still getting shocked. I'm still getting electrocuted.
I
I made a
suppose-
mistake. Bad time. Bad time. I mean, it's not really hurting me all that much, actually. I don't know
Let's-
why I don't just... Might help if I pushed a button.
if we can agree to use a roadmap of, like, for instance, the Inside Out characters, just simply for the sake
Okay.
of use,
Sure.
and say,
Hello. Batman's going back in time, boys. He did kill people in the original comics, it's worth noting.
I don't recall that.
I mean, it's not that he, like, did it deliberately, but, like, there were definitely things he did to people that would have absolutely killed them. And he didn't have the code back then. It wasn't a part of his character, really.
So, again, going back to my argument that pathos can get you to ethos.
But see, that I don't think is that what we got to get at is that I don't think that's necessarily a Stoic contention. at that
No, I'm
point.
not, I'm not arguing that. What
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
this
is
you're
that
just stating a separate.
I'm
belief.
stating what I was initially talking about, and I think it got misguided to like you, because I understand you being a decided Stoic. I could understand where you and ended up being something that ended up framing it around like, well, Stoics don't believe this, and honestly, I just don't know enough about Stoic principles to be able to actually.
Well, but if your
assert
argument
that.
is that you can still achieve some kind of ethical, moral
Yes.
opinion through emotion, my contention would be the same, that I'm not convinced by that, because I think emotions are too volatile to be reliable conscience.
But if we're using
Hello. Okay, apparently having things thrown at you does not quell whatever thirst causes that.
same thing that was causing the mayor's thirst.
Ah! Okay, this is a little bit unnerving, if only because I don't know when that's going to happen next. Let me get him. Why are you not getting him, Bats? Beat the mentally ill.
That's my niche.
That's Batman's new political platform. Beat the
Beat
mentally
the
ill.
mentally ill. Not with your fists.
Bats. That's how I did it.
Beats illness.
Bat beats the mentally ill. I want something better.
So,
Hey, there you go. That's the good one. Twiddle these knobs.
how about you look at me now? I don't understand why it's letting him in. Like, is this a...
I don't know. Of course, Batman's in the system. Wouldn't he?
Prometheus is in here?
I don't know who that is. It's a riddle, of course. Oh, hello again.
Has finally turned up, the Dark Knight himself. How's it hanging, Bats?
Pretty low.
It ain't
actually.
hanging, actually.
I'm batwing.
You'll find it is erect.
I'm batwinging it right now with how hot it is in here. No,
Wow, that's an
why? So I guess what is your? Is it just because the fact that you don't find that they are as trustworthy, or what is it that?
Yes, basically. I mean, they can be. It's a little bit of the. I forget what the quote I was going to reference. But I mean, your emotions are going to be wildly dependent on a whole lot of things you are not going to fully understand. So using them as though they'll give you a consistent guide is, I think, unwise. How close can I get? Or is this not electrocuted anymore? It is.
You gotta stop doing that to yourself.
So I can't use that one. Okay. Or am I supposed to deactivate the bomb? I am confused. I have to somehow deactivate this bomb, I guess. Punch the bomb. That's what we know how to do. The only other thing I can get at is that, which I can't use. Unless I just do this again. Can I use this one again? Is this going to even do anything?
I could sit here and watch you all night, Bats.
What? Okay, so that turned this off. Okay.
Where can I get me one of those? Wait 30 seconds. You're running out of time.
I don't know what I'm doing. What, do I just let him down? I don't understand. I'm literally confused as to what I'm supposed to be
Now
doing.
can you go to the?
I mean, I've turned off the electricity, but I can't get these guys down. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was probably supposed to throw it. Okay, yeah.
Mr. J is going to be so happy with me. I killed.
I probably was supposed to cut them down with batarangs, which I didn't consider. I thought I would have had to like interact with them or somehow.
Bye bye.
So,
Oh, I was overcome by Joker toxin. Now it becomes the Batman who laughs. For real.
where am I going? Straight.
That way, I think, is the way I went. So, the crux of this argument, where is it?
Has finally turned up. The Dark Knight.
Emotion as a means to ethical behavior?
Is possible.
I don't think it is, because you will always, your emotions are going to be, so if you were to simply rely on emotion alone without any kind of critical thinking, you would only, essentially all you'd ever do is follow how you felt. And that may not always be correct. The way you, because even, there's an entire book about this which I've shown you. Haven't shown you, I've told you about.
2 minutes and counting.
It's called Against Empathy, and it talks about how generally decisions made out of an empathic response are often less effective than reasoned decisions in terms of alleviating
however, the
sorrow
capacity, the capacity for us to.
So try aiming a batarang and cutting them down. Subject obscured. Just any old one. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know what you're supposed to do after this. I guess get him out of here before the bomb goes off. It doesn't seem to be a way to deactivate the bomb.
One contestant eliminated.
Oh,
I smell bacon.
did he,
Was he
what?
still electrified?
Okay.
It didn't look like he was electrified.
Loser,
Oh, turn off the power. I thought you did.
I thought I did too. I did exactly the same sequence.
Well, not. I want to see who found this hallway first.
It is also the capacity that we have to, like the whole idea of us having mirror neurons is that we then are able to actually engage one another on an emotional level beyond just the I'm feeling an emotion. You are able to actually engage other people's emotions.
Yeah,
it's
but
what
see that
bonds. It's what bonds.
But this is an atheistic argument where they try to say, well, we can understand all these things neurologically, therefore morality is just anything that doesn't cause another person harm. And it's like, well, that actually doesn't track.
No, I'm not suggesting
Like the fact that
all morality
the fact
is.
that I can understand your own neural behavior and like recognize your pain or sorrow or whatever does not imply. It might be a sequence thing. So his pool is not electrified now. Maybe when I activate this one, it will be. So I have to get them out at different times. Yeah, the idea that just because you can empathically understand what someone is feeling, and that therefore you I thought I was getting ahead of myself. And that therefore, because you can understand their feelings, you just would never do anything that causes them negative feeling. It's
No, I'm not suggesting
one
that.
does not suggest the other.
No, but what I am saying
Because
is
a
that
sociopath would say,
sociopaths can't.
I suppose
they
but
feign
even then,
emotion.
Well,
exactly.
Even then, you could just as easily say, I don't care that it hurts you because you're not me, even if I can tell that it hurts you.
You could do that, but my point
is that you can't make an argument for morality in that case.
What I'm suggesting is
lads,
that emotion itself can be a means, not that it always is, but that it can be a means of expressing ethos. And to me,
I fail to see how.
Well, okay, I mean the most rudimentary way. What is going on with his sad sackery?
His mother was a trowel.
Like
his father was a bag of cement.
I think it goes much deeper than that.
Good. Listen,
Something's gone deeper than that.
if you find her, don't.
I don't know what's up with him.
He's got.
Because if all you're going to say, if your only argument is like Louis Green, if it's just, well, I felt a pang of conscience and therefore
No, but that in itself is a tool that I believe whether you want to call it the Tao or whether you want to call it God or whether you want it whatever, that is used by the divine to move us. I would argue even on a more direct level, if we are again using the emotions of, for the sake of ease, using the emotions of what is it called? Inside Out, that joy in itself is actually an ethologically positive thing.
But
That is actually...
How do you base that? Where are you getting that from?
Scripture. Joy is one of the fruits of the Spirit. So arguably, it's one that we ought to express. And that in itself is ethos. So I go, emotion can, again, my only argument has ever been emotion can get you to ethos.
Okay, but see, to say, oh, well, I can feel happy.
Not happiness. Happiness is distinct from joy.
Yes, but I think, forgive me if I come across as facetious, but I think that I'm being flippant on purpose because I think that's a very flimsy.
No, it's not flimsy. I would say happiness is a fleeting context, contextually, and joy is more rooted.
Come on, keep up. You getting tired?
In the same way that
But you don't control what causes joy, so how can it be used as an ethical standard? Because when you feel it, it's not up to you.
I would disagree with that. I think that you have...
Well, I would disagree with it too, actually, but that's because of a Stoic principle.
My point is...
I believe you have more control over your emotions than you think.
I'm not
But that's because of rationality that you have that.
Yes.
Therefore,
but, again, the emotion of joy is an ethologically positive thing, and therefore I think pathos can lead you to ethos.
You're going to have to explain what you mean by ethos then, because I think...
Ethos is anything that expresses the divine in a positive
I don't know that that's
capacity.
the classic Greek definition of it.
Well, okay, so let's get on the same page with that. Because to me,
I mean,
I was
logos,
defining it
ethos,
as...
and pathos, in a rhetorical sense, are just, modes of making an argument.
Ethos is ethics, I suppose.
Yes.
So joy...
And to say feeling joy is ethical, it's like, well, okay, what are you basing that off of?
Well, because of Scripture. That's all I'm basing it off of. Because I guess my best...
It's like, okay, but all that means is that feeling joy is a good thing. That doesn't mean that you should feel joy as a sort of ethical responsibility, because you don't have that capacity. Or at least, generally speaking, I mean, you can't manufacture joy.
You can't manufacture joy, but again, this is why having joy...
You can recognize it in a difficult situation, I think. It's like, again, you can
possess joy when and again, it is I would say emotion is the more substantive context that humanity feels, in the same way that I would say something like envy is more rooted and is more of an actual emotion versus a fleeting, well, I'm jealous. Jealousy is a passing emotion. Passing feeling.
Jealousy and envy, what's the difference?
There's, again, passing feeling is of jealousy versus a more rooted emotion of
most
envy.
People would define those as.
No, that's
I don't think most people would say, well, jealousy is just envy in the short term.
No. Well, that's fine. All I'm saying is the way I would... Previously, you obviously talked about him not being...
Oh, it's this guy.
What?
Calendar Man is one of the weirdest of Batman's villains.
Why does he... What is his problem?
It's a gimmick is his problem. Bad writers.
What?
He kills people on days of the week.
Why?
I don't actually know enough about him. I'm being facetious, but it's something basically like that. I mean, clearly I'm in the right spot because she's talking to me in here.
To me, I'm using biblical reference as the best marker I have for what ethics would be.
But ethics is how you should act. Can we agree on that? It's a guide on how you should act, broadly speaking?
Morally, yes.
So I think telling someone just have joy.
Well, no,
That's
joy
not really
is
helpful
something
ethical advice.
Well,
To feel joy, you could argue, is ethical, but that's not really advice you could give someone if they're going through something. It's like, what should I do in this situation? Just be joyful. It's
well,
not
no,
very
that's
helpful.
not what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is, can joy be something that leads you to ethics? Yes, I think so.
In
the same way that
I wouldn't agree with that, because feeling joy, how does that make you more ethical other than that you're feeling it?
because you are representing and what is it? Demonstrating a fruit of the spirit.
Okay,
Again, so it's in the same way love is.
But then the argument
than
then
lust.
is, I mean, if we're going to if we're talking about that, then that's not even something you've done, because the fruit of the spirit
No,
aren't
it's
things
not.
you have control over either.
I agree.
So again,
emotion
you can't
that's
take
what
credit,
I mean.
ethical credit for something you didn't have any part in.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about getting credit for it. I'm talking about because again, emotion is something that is the makeup of.
But if ethic is how you should act, then it requires voluntary action. You don't get credit for something you've done right
ethic
that you didn't
is
have control
morality,
over.
in my opinion.
Well, sure, but morality is action. Like, if nobody did anything, there'd be no questions of morals.
In the same way that love is something that is an action
love is an action
versus
too.
lust, which is a negative emotion, but it is an action nonetheless.
I don't know how to get in there.
So I would say Jesus took it to this level in that, obviously there was it's not unlike the argument that one, forgive me, I can't recall his name. He was a Jewish doctor that, not doctor in the medical sense, but like he was a doctorate that has been in the context of Jordan Peterson's sphere several times, and it talked about the idea that from his Jewish perspective, your actions are far more important than the
Dennis
things
Prager?
of. Was
I
that
don't know
who
if
it
he's
was?
a doctor.
But he talked through like the idea that for him, the internal or what's happening inside is actually less concerning to him than the actual act. And I would say that's true, but at the same time, Jesus very clearly took it to a level that was deeper than that. And again, emotion themselves then became the substantive.
But Jesus does not say if you
change.
feel lust. He says if you look at a woman lustfully, implying that it's a thing you have control over. So it's an action, not a feeling. Or rather, the ethical implications are directed at the action, not the feeling. In the same way that it's not, you have not sinned by being tempted to sin, but the action is what matters. Because to look at a woman lustfully is not a feeling, it's an act.
But
if
again,
it's possible.
I don't think that that feeling is amoral.
Well, that would imply then that you should feel criticism or you should feel guilt when you've been tempted, because that's a feeling.
Correct.
I don't think that's biblical at all. In fact, it's fairly contra-biblical as far as I
conviction
understand.
is 100%.
Not if you haven't acted, though. You don't have to feel guilt because you've been tempted.
No, I agree with that.
Well, but if what you're describing would equate temptation to emotion because you're feeling the feeling. You may feel lust, even if you choose not to act on it, you choose to reject it. You still felt it, and therefore you should be guilty. Because by your interpretation, lust is a feeling, and it's not the looking that you're told not to do, it's the feeling. And that's not how I interpret that. I don't know where to go when that happens. I cannot jump up on these rails. You cannot. Oh, I can! He just decides. Once he's been shocked enough, he just figures out how to do it. Come on up here, lads.
What is it that they're being shocked by? Is there?
They just ran away because apparently they know when it's going to happen. That man will never bear children. I mean, I suppose the bearing doesn't happen on his part. Wee. Get up there, bats! What do you say to my counterpoint?
Well, I mean, what the counterpoint that emotions are amoral? Is that what you're arguing?
No, my point is if emotions have moral weight, regardless of the actions taken, then that implies that temptation is equivalent to sin. Because
No,
to be
I'm
tempted
not
may only
that.
take place emotionally, as in the case with lust. But if you don't act on it, then traditional understanding is that by not acting on it, you've resisted the temptation and thus have not committed a sin. And thus you
but
don't
again,
have to feel
if you've-
guilty for it.
If you have,
But if you felt the emotion in your case, then you have done something wrong, and you would be right to feel guilty for it, regardless of whether you acted or not.
well, I mean, but again, teasing that argument out, you could make the same. It's the same case of again the Jewish guy and what he's saying, which is basically, I don't find that me looking at a woman is the same thing as me committing adultery. It's
That
like,
is
well,
not
Jesus
really
would
what he
disagree.
said. I'd like to.
Well, he did say that. He was like talking about the idea that he felt like it was.
Well, he acknowledged in that argument, and I do think he did kind of not get the fair end of that discussion, because I think a lot of people have imputed things that he didn't mean. He went on, actually, Pints with Aquinas, of all things, to talk about that afterwards and kind of
I
explain
think
his
that's
argument.
actually what I saw him on.
And then he tried to sort of explain his argument better. But essentially, his argument was never that it's totally fine. He's just saying, in the broader context, it comes down to more of a gradation of sin concept.
Well, and I would say that's the same according to what.
Well, sure,
Scripture
but that I
tells
suppose
us.
is a Jewish difference.
But what I'm saying is, so something like joy being included in the Bible as a spiritual.
It's funny how all the Arkham games have included this moment.
What?
When Harley tries to pull out her fancy pants acrobatics and Batman just has none of it.
That's my party list.
Quiet. Why the smiles next to certain names?
You're the detective, you tell me.
She is leaning against razor wire. That is some sci-fi nonsense,
What was he confirming?
He apparently scanned her hand from a distance and got a handprint,
Yep.
which he can now use, presumably, to unlock stuff.
No